Hey guys, it's Bethany, your crafty BFF, and today I'm on with a little bit of a different video. I wanted to do a tips and tricks and some information about the supplies that I use um, for beginner crafters. It's kind of like all the stuff I wish I would have known when I first started paper crafting. The things that make my life easier and yeah, just some advice and where to get things and stuff like that. So I hope you enjoy what I've put together. It's probably going to be a little bit of a long video because there's a lot to go over, but let's start with supplies. Okay, um, the number one supply for me is cardstock because I use a lot of it. Now, I will say this: if and when I have the time, and I usually make the time to get to Michael's, I will get my cardstock from Michael's. I wait for it to go on sale when it's buy one, get one 40% off, I think is what it usually is. They carry 8.5 by 11, 65-pound cardstock in lots of colors: white, um, black, pinks, blues, greens, yellows, all of the colors. They also carry the 8.5 by 11, 110-pound. I know they carry it in white, they carry it in black, and they carry it in a variety of pink shades. Sometimes I'll buy that one, but usually I just stick to the white. Um, I do not recommend buying their 12 by 12 65-pound cardstock. It cracks and rips, and it's so thin. I don't mess with their 12 by 12 65-pound cardstock. Now their 8.5 by 11 is great. I never have any issues with it. Weird, I know, but that's just my observations over the years. Um, my second choice is Joann's. They have the 65-pound 8.5 by 11, 110-pound 8.5 by 11, and they carry 110-pound both in 12 by 12 and 65 and 8.5 by 11. Um, I do like Michael's better, but they're the only place I found where you can get the 12 by 12s in actual 110-pound weight. Now, the 110-pound weight is what you would use when you're making a 3D project or um, a mini album. You want something sturdy that's gonna last. So I always have 110-pound in my stash. I always have 65-pound in my stash as well. Now, my third choice is Hobby Lobby because, well, they're the only ones that are less than 5 minutes away from me. Everything else is at least 30 minutes away. So when I'm in a bind, like I am currently, I will purchase the 65-pound cardstock from Hobby Lobby. It's $7.99, but it is 40% off this week, so I did get it on sale. I bought 3 of these and I bought one of these. So this is Hobby Lobby's 110-pound cardstock. It says extra heavy weight on it, and it's not my favorite, but it does work in a bind. Like I said, my absolute favorite is Michael's. Okay, now I want to talk about collections. Um, it took me a long time to figure out what I liked and what I didn't like, and to learn not to buy everything that everyone else is buying. Some people a lot of people will get really excited about a certain collection, and because they were excited, I would get it. Well, then it ended up to be like I didn't really like it when I got it in person and didn't want to use it, right? So, um, I really think about a collection before I buy it. I don't buy the 12 by 12 paper pads anymore. I only buy the single sheets of the prints that I really, really like. And usually I'll buy like 3 of each of the ones I really love. I will usually buy the 6 by 8 pad for die cutting, so I don't have to waste the 12 by 12s. I also don't buy every single piece of a collection. I stick to the paper, the cardstock stickers, the chipboard stickers, the ephemera, and maybe the puffy stickers. I'm not talking about the 6x12 like foam stickers. I'm talking about the little pack of puffy stickers because they're great for little embellishments. And most of the things that I make are on a smaller scale. So the 6x12 stickers are usually way too big for any kind of crafting that I do. Um, I hardly ever use alphas, so I don't buy them like for every collection that comes out. Now maybe if they're really cute, I'll buy them, but not often. And then there's the extras of a collection, like the dangles, the keychains, like 3D type items. I don't fuss with that because I can make my own, right? I can make tassels. I can make a little dangle. Um, so those kind of things I don't buy. I think they're way too much money, and um, you just don't need them. Especially not in paper crafting. I feel like. Now if you love them and you have to have them, that's another story. And that leads me to this piece of advice. Um, find the colors, the designers, the collections that you love, and stick to that. Don't buy a collection just because everyone else is. Hone in on what you love, and that doesn't go just for collections. It goes for all of the things. Like I used to think I needed every color of cardstock, every color trim, beads, specialty paper, diamond dots, enamel dots, I thought I needed to have all of it in my stash just in case. Then I realized that I mostly use pinks and lean towards, I reach for pastels more than anything. So find the color scheme that you reach for, and that's what you keep in your stash. Don't don't buy um like okay, so when it comes to something specific, I need for like holiday crafting, say Halloween or Christmas, I don't keep that in my stash all year long. A, I don't have the storage room for it, and B, I'm not going to use it on a regular basis. So when it comes that time that I need it, then I buy it. I don't keep it stocked year round, right? Now, um, um, sorry, I lost my place. I have my notes I'm going over. I buy what I need when I need it and keep only my favorites stocked up. And then there's the whole just in case scenario. Well, what if um so I caught myself almost purchasing things just in case I ever did a mermaid swap. So I was going to buy purple and teal colored cardstock. I was gonna buy seashells and mermaid themed things. Then it dawned on me I don't even like mermaids. So why would I buy a theme I don't like? Um, why waste my storage space on it? Why waste the money on it? I wouldn't want to participate in a swap that I would get a whole bunch of themed things because I don't really care for it, right? And and if you love mermaids, like no offense, like I'm not saying mermaids specifically. I'm talking about any theme that you wouldn't want to have. If you don't enjoy it, why participate in that swap and get a bunch of stuff in that theme? Um, like I would pass on a mermaid swap. You know what I'm saying? Um, Now, for example, um, I recently signed up for two different fruit themed swaps. Now, I had a few fruit themed dies that I bought back in my just in case stage where I was buying everything because one day I might need it, and so it was good that I had those few things. But for everything else that I needed, I just went on Temu and placed an order. Because I am signed up for those swaps. I'm buying it now because I need it. I haven't had it in my storage for years, waiting for an opportunity to use it. The point is, narrow down what you find yourself always reaching for, spend your money on that. Don't buy specific things until you need them. And if yeah, moving on. We're going to move on. Now, if you're going to spend money on craft supplies, spend it on the tools and the supplies that you'll use over and over again. Which brings me to my favorite tools. We're going to start with the paper trimmers. I actually have 3 paper trimmers. I have this one from Fiskars. It's my usual go-to, but sometimes, like if I need to replace the blade and I don't have any, I have one from Hobby Lobby that I use. The blades from Hobby Lobby don't last long, but they are super cheap. So I usually always have that as my backup. And then I have a We Are Memory Keepers scoreboard / trimmer that they quit making the blades for because I can't find them anywhere. There's tape on there. I can't find those blades anymore, but I did always keep the dull blades for when I was going to cut chipboard. So I have that. I still have that trimmer and I use it only for chipboard. Which brings me to a piece of advice. Never use a good fresh blade on chipboard. It will make your blade dull way, way faster. So when they stop cutting paper well, save them for when you want to cut chipboard. I always switch it out if I'm cutting chipboard. Then the scoreboard. Okay, so I have this one from Martha Stewart. It's my favorite. I use it every day. It gets a lot of use. But I also have the mini one from We Are Memory Keepers. I can't get to it right now, but it's like a 6x8 size, and it's good for when you need to score something small. Then I wanted to talk about my envelope punch board. This is one of my favorites as well. For a long time, I didn't use it, but now I really enjoy. Once I got over how intimidating using it was, I just watched a tutorial video on how to use it, and that made it way less intimidating. And so now I really like to make envelopes of any size that I might need for greeting cards, for embellishments, etc. It's really fun to make your own envelopes out of patterned paper to go with the theme and whatnot. So I do love my envelope punch board. And that brings me to bone folders. This is a Teflon bone folder. I got it on Amazon. There's lots of brands on Amazon that claim to be Teflon, and they're not, or they're really expensive. But there is one brand. It's called Asfroy, Asfroy, and they sell them for $11.90 on Amazon. 1-day delivery for me, anyways. So this is my favorite. I swear by it. It does such a good job creasing paper. And while yes, the generic ones that come with from We Are Memory Keepers, they work. They will do, but and I'll use it if I can't find this one. But I just love the Teflon one. It feels so good in your hand. It's smooth. It creases the paper better, I think, better than the We Are Memory Keepers one. And a third runner up, if you don't want to invest the money, is the scraper tool from Dollar Tree. Looks like this. I know Cricut makes a version like this as well, but the one from Dollar Tree will work on a bind. It will grease your paper. So I thought I'd go over those. And then, let's see, what's next? next? Scoring tools. Speaking of Dollar Tree, hold on, I have a bin of all my tools here. I'll show you for something to look at instead of it just being me talking. This one right here is my favorite. It's from Dollar Tree. It looks like this. Also comes in pink, and it's my favorite. It's got the perfect size little ball on the end, and it feels good in your hand. It's got a grip on it, and it's my favorite. Now, Dollar Tree used to, maybe still does, sell a version that is white and has two pink, it's a double-ended one and has two pink rubber grips on it. Now, those used to break on me all the time. Now, maybe I was scoring too hard or whatever, but I had a couple of them actually break. So this one has never broken on me, and I love it. It's my favorite. I don't know why that's in there. This is another scoring tool or embossing tool that I have. It's double-ended. This comes in a 3-pack from Hobby Lobby in the art section. This one I usually use for molding. What do you call it? I guess molding my paper flowers when I want them to look realistic. I use my foam pad and this thing to mold my flowers into the shape I want them to be. Now let's talk about rulers. Not all rulers are created equally. No, they're not. And especially when I first started out paper crafting, and I would be following tutorials, and they would mention 1/8 measurements. I never understood the whole 1/8 measurement, and it was really confusing to me at first. And regular rulers that you buy from any old store, they do not have the 1/8 inch marked. These rulers here, this one is Rock Hardware brand. I get this from Amazon. It costs, I don't know, like six and some change on Amazon for this one. It's flexible, it bends, it has a chart on the back, a conversion chart, and then but if you can see, it actually measures down to the 1/16 of an inch, and I love it. This one is also from Amazon. It's Victor brand, and it's like $5.98 on Amazon. It also has down to the 1/16 and 1/8 measurements marked. And if you're just learning 1/8 measurements, this comes in so handy. I use my rulers every single day for measuring, and it's really handy to be able to get that exact measurement instead of guessing. When I first started out, I actually would write them down, the measurements down like this until I memorized them. So it's 1/8, 1/4, 3/8, half, 5/8, 3/4, 7/8, and 1 inch. And so I had this posted on the wall above my desk for the longest time, like I said, until I finally memorized it. And now I just know my 1/8 measurements. So that's that. Love my rulers. It just makes my life so much easier, right? Okay, let's go on to scissors. My favorites are the Tim Holtz brand from Tonic Studios. I do oh, look, I have some foam tape on there. I do have all 3 sizes. The large size, I think they're 9 inches, the 7 inches, and the 5 inches, I want to say. These are great for fussy cutting. These are like my regular everyday scissors, and these are for when I need to cut a long edge or something like that. These are the only scissors I've found. Even the ones that say they're look, and I say that as there's a little bit of residue on here. These are the only scissors that are actually non-stick. I can cut through adhesive, through double-sided tape, through foam tape, um, and the residue doesn't build up on them. Even scissors that are marked non-stick, like the residue builds up so bad they end up not cutting anymore. So these are the only ones I've found that actually don't build up residue and let you cut through things. They're great. I think they are reasonably priced. Compared, some scissors cost $20 a pair, and these are not that. So those are my favorite scissors from Old Timmy. Let's see. Now let's talk about adhesives. Now my go-to is Bearly Arts. I order it online. You can use the code Christy Ann 10 to save 10% on your order. I usually buy the big refill, the 11-ounce refill. That's what I reorder all the time. And I think it comes out to be like $16 with shipping, but it's worth it to me. It's my favorite glue. It does dry clear. My second runner up, excuse the messy bottle, is Art Glitter Glue. The thing with Art Glitter Glue is that they don't even sell it during the winter time because it is so temperature sensitive. If it gets too cold, you can't order it, and so I usually just stick to Bearly Arts, but sometimes I will order the Art Glitter Glue. Now, say I run out of wet adhesive and I have nothing, and I have to wait on a delivery, I will use Aleene's. I can pick it up from Walmart, and while it's not my favorite, it will work in a bind. Okay, that's my story on wet adhesives. Let's talk about double-sided tape. I will never use double-sided tape by itself. I think, especially the one from the Dollar Tree, just does not work on its own. I want my projects to last, and I've never, maybe it's where I live with the humidity, but double-sided tape has never stuck and stayed stuck by itself for me. So I always add my wet adhesive to my double-sided tape for a really good firm hold. I get my 1-inch tape from Amazon. I get my 3/8 of an inch, which is really great because it's great for the 1/2 inch score marks. It's the perfect size for a 1/2 inch score mark. Get that one from Amazon. I do get the 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch from Hobby Lobby or Michaels. Then we can talk about hot glue. Okay, I will never buy Dollar Tree hot glue sticks ever again. They are so stringy. They make such a mess. And I am a Surebonder girl, okay? Surebonder for life. Of course, I can't find them, but I do buy the pack of 50 of the mini Surebonder glue sticks from Hobby Lobby usually, but you can get them on Amazon as well. And this is my old, very well used glue gun. It's actually called a glue pin, and I love the way it feels in my hand. Get I can get things a lot more accurately with this than I can with a regular hot glue gun. So this is my preferred Surebonder hot glue pen. Love her. And before we move away from adhesives, I wanted to talk about okay, you can't just when you need to unclog your glue or keep a pin in there from it getting clogged, you want to use a stainless steel pen. You can't just use any old stick pen, because they will turn your glue like this ugly brown color, and then it can ruin your project. Sorry, I bumped the tripod. So I had someone sent this to me in some Happy Mail, and so I never lose it anymore. I used to lose my pins all the time, but now that it has a dangle on it, I never lose it. And so I recommend the stainless steel pins, and I recommend putting yourself a little dangle on the end of it. It's so she put a dangle on it, and then she glued this bead there to keep it on the pin. However, you can order stainless steel pins from Amazon, and that's what I did before I got that one. I ordered this whole thing was full of pins, but I lose them and they get icky, and yeah. So these have like the little butterfly on the end, and you can get these on Amazon. I don't remember how much they were, sorry. But yeah, just search stainless steel pins on Amazon. And since we were just talking about hot glue, here's a little tip to get those glue strings to go away. Those hot glue strings that are always left on your project. It's a heat embossing gun. I got this one on Amazon a long time ago, and it has adhesive all over it. But anyways, after your project has dried, you turn this on and you just wave it over where the hot glue strings are, and the smaller hot glue strings, they will just disappear. And if they don't disappear, they make them wet again so you can wipe them away, and they're not too hot to wipe away, with your hand. So that's my little tip for getting rid of those glue strings on your pretty projects. Now I'm going to move on to die cutting, because there's lots of tools you can use for die cutting that make your life easier. And the first one is the precision cutting plate from Sizzix. I use this only for intricate dies. Okay, it can damage your any die that's not an intricate die. It can actually damage it, especially if it's a frame style die. So only for intricate dies do I use this as my bottom plate, and I have it marked. And yeah, that's what I use for intricate dies. It makes your life so much easier. Then I have the magic mat from scrapbook.com. I got it for free with one of my orders, and I used to think it didn't work because I tried it just regular, like with a regular die cutting sandwich through the machine, and it didn't cut all the way through. So I was like, well, this is crap. Well, then I figured out that I had to use a paper shim with it in my sandwich. So it does work. You just got to figure out the right sandwich to work with your machine. This one I need to heat up and make it flat again. But it works really well as the bottom cutting plate. It stays flat. If you use it as the top plate, this is what happens. It bends all crazy like. So I just use it as the bottom plate from now on. What's next? What's next on my list? Magic mat. Pokey tools. Okay, so if you're not lucky enough to have received a gorgeous pokey tool from a friend in Happy Mail, like I have, I've got several of them. This is just an example. But the Dollar Tree sells a 2-pack of them. And focus, please. Okay, so this one has a thicker tip, and then the other one in the pack has a much thinner tip. I use this thicker one to poke my paper out of my dies, my metal dies, and I use it every day, so it's an important tool to have. Then for intricate dies, I use my brush tool from, this one is from Sizzix, and for those intricate dies, you keep the piece of paper in the metal die and you put it over a trash can, and then you just run the brush over where all those little pieces are, and then you don't have to sit there and poke out each individual little piece of paper. This makes your life a whole lot easier. Paper piecing. Okay, when you're paper piecing, you want to have a pair of tweezers. They're always nice to pick up little pieces and put them where they need to go, but even more so, I recommend a pair of reverse tweezers. Mine have glue residue all over them, because this is what I use when I'm paper piecing, and it involves glue, right? So the reverse tweezers, you press down on them to open them, and then they stay closed. So while you're putting your glue down, the tweezers will continue to hold the paper even if you are not holding the tweezers down, right? Does that make sense? So these, you have to actually press them down to hold the paper, and these you press down to open. That's why they're reverse tweezers. These are from Cricut. I know Hobby Lobby sells their store brand of this as well, and it comes in a pack with other tools for your Cricut. And now I want to talk about my beading wire wrapping tools. Okay, it took me years to finally break down and spend the money on a good pair, or a good set of tools. I would buy the Hobby Lobby brands and they would break on me. I went to the hardware store and bought some wire cutters that were too big for what I needed them for and didn't work well. So let's talk about the wire cutters first. I highly recommend the Beadsmith brand. You can get these at Hobby Lobby. I think the wire cutters are the most important tool. Like I said, they're from the Beadsmith. And not only do I use them in my wire wrapping, and they're precise and they're strong and they don't break, but I also use these to cut apart my new metal cutting dies. They come together with those little tiny metal pieces, and I use these to clip them off. And so these serve a dual purpose, and they're strong enough for both. So I highly recommend spending the money on the good Beadsmith brand. As far as the pliers go, you only need two pairs. You need a round nose plier like this, and you need a needle nose plier like this. Again, I would buy the Hobby Lobby brands and they would break on me. What would happen is that these pieces here would come out, like they would actually come out of this part of the grips, and then they would be broken. So I would have to rebuy them, and I'm like, well, I'm not really saving money if I have to keep rebuying them. So finally broke down and spent the money on the good set, and I recommend you do as well. I forgot something about die cutting. It's the tape. So you know how sometimes you need to tape down a die to the paper so it doesn't move around and all that jazz? Well, this is my favorite tape. It's actually for crafting. It's called Crafter's Essential Easy C Removable Craft Tape. I picked this up on SimonsSaysStamp.com, and it's lasted. I think I bought it about a year ago, and I still have a ton left because you can reuse it. It's see-through, so you know exactly where you're putting it. It works well and it's never torn my paper. Using washi tape, my paper has torn. And so I don't use the washi tape anymore. I've tried the mint tape from scrapbook.com. Now, some people swear by it, but it actually stuck to my paper and tore my little die cut, and I was really upset. So I do not use the mint tape. I use this exclusively for my die cutting. So there you are. And I think it's around $6 or $7, or it was when I purchased it. So there's that. And now we're just going to move on to the other tools that don't really have a category, if you know what I'm talking about. It took me a long time to buy the Crop-A-Dile as well, but I finally did, and I'm glad I did. It replaces a hole punch. You can punch a 3/16 hole, which is the regular size eyelets, or you can do the 1/8 inch hole, which is the mini eyelets. And then this has different setting. It has one for the large eyelets and one for the small eyelets. If I can get it to turn around like so. It comes with instructions on how to use it and everything, so I don't have all those instructions, and I only use it for the two things, the two different sizes. So definitely like this for setting eyelets. It makes it so much easier. I used to have the other tool that you had to hammer the eyelets, and oh my gosh, that was so frustrating. This works extremely well. And we have our man, there is residue all over my tools. You can tell I'm a crafter, and a messy one at that. So my corner rounder, I never did care to spend the money on the We Are Memory Keepers corner chomper, is what they call it. I bought this on Amazon again for around $6 or $7, and it has lasted me years. I always use the 10mm round because that's the look I like, but it does come with a 4mm and a 7mm rounded corner as well. And like I said, picked it up for cheap on Amazon, and it's lasted years, so I didn't see the need to buy the corner chomper. Another tool that I use, now this is more of a specialty tool. This is the right angle tool that I picked up on Etsy. It's created by Darlene Bruel. I don't know how to say her last name, but she does have a store on Etsy, and you can just search for right angle tool, and this will come up. Now, if you make a lot of albums, it makes your life easier. So what you do when you have your chipboard glued to your 65-pound cardstock, you put this on the corner of your chipboard. Like, you might have seen me use it in a video, and then it shows you exactly where to cut your corner off, so that when you bend your paper over to on your chipboard, it's not going to leave a gap there. Sometimes when you're trying to guess what the correct right angle is, it'll leave a gap, and then you got to start over, and it's such a pain in the butt. So love this tool for if you're an album maker. I use this all the time. It's my mini box cutter. If you get a lot of Happy Mail packages, it's good to have one. And then we have the EK Success powder tool. All it is baby powder in a bottle. I use it for when I make shakers. The foam creates static within the shaker, and then the sequins stick to the sides of the foam and the acetate and all that. So before you add your sequins, you just dust around the foam with this tool, and the baby powder keeps it from getting too staticky. So love this tool. You can also use it for if you do embossing, ink embossing. You can use it to keep the embossing powders from having too much static and going everywhere. I've never used it that way, but that's what I hear. Now the last thing I wanted to talk about, I think it's the last thing. Yes. 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 The last thing I wanted to talk about is packaging. My tips and tricks for making your Happy Mail your embellishments and the things that you make look really special and store bought and fun to open. I wanted to tell you about the supplies I use and where I get them. So from Hobby Lobby, these are the two size bags that I use the most to package up embellishments. It's the you get these in the card aisle at Hobby Lobby. They're only 99 cents, and you get 20 in each pack. So you have the A2 size, and it is resealable. These are great for smaller embellishments or just one or two embellishments, and these are better for larger embellishments. When you're packaging up Happy Mail, and let me show you this example I have here. So this is something I use my ruler for. My 1/8 inch ruler. Okay. I will measure my bag, and it is 5.5 inches. Okay. That means that my backing paper that I'm gonna put my embellishment on needs to be 5 3/8 inches. Well, actually, okay, if it's a thin embellishment, you can do 5 3/8 inches wide. If it's a thick embellishment like this one, you need 5 1/4, like a whole 1/4 inch less than the bag, because trying to fit something thick in will cause the bag to bow like this, and you don't want that. You want it to stay flat. So you measure your bag and either do 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch smaller than the width of the bag. And then you measure from the top to the bottom. I know this one is 7.5. And so I cut my backing paper, and then I use removable adhesive dots on the back of my embellishments to keep them in one place within the bag. So it has the backing paper, the adhesive dots are having it stick to the paper, and it won't move around in there, right? Like if you just put embellishments in there, they'll move around if they don't have the adhesive dot to keep them in one place. Okay, so you can definitely pick them up at the dollar store. They come like this. And then from Hobby Lobby, these aren't the ones I usually get. I bought these by mistake. These are permanent, and they're 6mm, so they're really small. I don't usually get these. I like I said, it was a mistake because the box looks identical, except it says removable here. So I pick up the removable adhesive dots from Hobby Lobby. Usually those are my go-tos, but if they're out like they are now, I get the ones from Dollar Tree. So I hope that's clear. You just measure your baggie and make your backing paper, and then to make a really simple bag topper, guys, you would measure the space that so you would measure the bag, and you know that it needs to be 5 inches wide, and then you measure how much space you have at the top. Like say like here, I could have done a bag topper that is that comes down 2 inches, so I would cut it at 4 inches and then score it in half, and then just fold it over and then decorate it, and you have a really simple bag topper, right? So you can do that with a piece of paper, or you can I'll take this one here I just put this in a baggie by itself, with no bag topper. But if I wanted to add one, I can just take a doily and figure out where I want it. I don't want it to cover any of this part of the embellishment, so I'm going to fold it over right here, and voila, and then you decorate it, and voila, there's a bag topper, right? So there's 2 easy ways to do bag toppers and to really make your packaging special, right? You always want to put the opening, the resealable opening of the bag at the bottom, not at the top under the bag topper, because then it makes it super easy to slide in and out. If you put the resealable part under the bag topper, then they have to rip the bag topper off in order just to get to the embellishment, and you don't want that, because if you're like me and you like to reuse bag toppers and packaging that people send you, definitely put your resealable end at the bottom. Okay, hope that makes sense. Other bags that you can pick up at Hobby Lobby. Oh, where are they? Where are they? Oh, here they are. So I'm sorry I don't have the bag topper, but it does come with like a black bag topper, and you can pick this pack of, there's 3 or 4 different sizes. I think 4 different sizes in this, and you get them in the jewelry section at Hobby Lobby. These little sizes are good for sequins mixes, and it does have like a little hanging thing at the top. You can see that, like a little bag topper, but you can put paper over it. I fold a piece of paper over it as a bag topper, and it comes in this size. Okay, so it is just 3 sizes, and this size. I think this one's perfect for just a single embellishment that you're sending someone. I sent someone a butterfly shaker in this bag recently, and really easy to measure for a bag topper for this one. So they, like I said, jewelry section at Hobby Lobby. And lastly, they sell these larger bags, transparent art bags. They're in the art section at Hobby Lobby. So they're meant to hold like a photo or a painting or something like that. But these are great for when you're sending, say you want to send a group swap, or you want to send one of these loaded bags and you don't want anything to fall out in shipping. You put them in one of these larger bags and seal it, and then everything that is meant for one person stays together. They come in several different sizes, from like $3.50 to $3.99. This is like one of the medium sizes, and it works great for a lot of Happy Mail packages. So just thought I'd add that in there. Great for when you're mailing your packages. And I lied. Packaging was not the last thing. My bad. The last thing, and probably the best advice I'm going to give you today, is pirate ship. Okay? When I first heard about it, I was like, okay, yeah, maybe you'll save a little money, blah, blah, blah. I'll just use good old true USPS.com. And then I found out how much money I actually would save. I gave it a try. I thought it was going to be really intimidating. It's not intimidating at all. Super easy to use. Very self-explanatory when you go to the website. You make yourself a little account, and all you need is a ruler or a measuring tape so that you can measure your packages. You can send envelopes or box packages. Sorry about that. I bumped the tripod again. So you measure your box with your ruler or your tape measure, and then you need a scale. So I bought this one on Amazon. I'm sure it was less than $25. I think it was more like 20. You can buy them from $20 to $30. Well, 20 and up on Amazon, but I'm saying this $25 one, $25 one works just perfect. You turn it on and it will tell you the pounds and ounces of your um, package. Now, like seriously, within the first, I would say 3 or 4 packages that you send, you're gonna make the money right back that you spend on this. It it's you save that much money with Pirate Ship. Um, uh, at least 50%. I used to spend an average of $20 per package I was sending, and now I spend anywhere from $6 to $12 per package. So it's literally like 50%, if not more. So that is my final piece of advice. I highly recommend you check out pirateship.com. It truly saves a lot of money, and it's super easy to use. You can print your labels off right at home, and USPS will still pick them up from your home, or you can drop them off at the post office. And Pirate Ship also gives you it shows you the cheapest price, but then you can also like select the drop down menu and see how much each carrier charges for that same package. So sometimes UPS will be a little bit cheaper than USPS, and I'll choose that one. And but the thing is that it also prints out a USPS tracking number. So USPS will take UPS packages at your door front or at the post office. So keep that in mind. And yeah, that's my video. It's almost an hour long. Sorry for all the rambling, but I thought I'd get it all out in one video, and hopefully, and I've a lot of my subscribers have said they don't mind long videos. So sorry this one was a little more boring. I didn't show you a whole lot, but I did show you the tools that I had available and what I recommend. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them down below. I can link some things if you're interested. Just drop me a comment and I'll link it for you in the description box. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.